I off?
There we
We're
are.
live. Hello, we are live streamed. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. It is Angie Atkinson, and I'm here with the lovely and talented Lise Colucci. Lise, welcome back.
Thank you.
Always my pleasure. Um, so today we're going to talk about gaslighting. And if you will look in the description below, you will see all of the reminders that we used to post in the chat, plus a few updates. And this will include ways that you can get in touch with each of us and get on our channels. Now we are here. Thank you. We are here at at another an unusual time. Hey, Maddie. Hey, MS and Dude Trust Me. Hello.
Hey.
We're a little later than usual, but we had things happening.
We had things that happened.
Things happen. So, hey, Jackie and Adrian. Today we thought we'd talk about gaslighting and signs of gaslighting. We could always use a review, and some people are new to the chat, so hey, let's get going. I think some of our admins will be, or our moderators will be coming in shortly. So let's see, what do we want to start with today? Lise, do you want to start with some of the signs off the top of your head?
Or gaslighting. Well, projecting is a form of gaslighting when they take what they're thinking, feeling, or the way they're acting and make it seem like someone else is doing it.
Yeah.
It's anything that in a conversation you're starting to doubt your own belief, truth, understanding, or awareness of.
Yeah, a form of
yourself. Yeah.
Right. A form of psychological manipulation.
Yeah.
Not just narcissists use it, but narcissists almost always use it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they're usually trying to gain power, right? And
gain
control.
Power or avoid accountability.
Oh, yes.
Is, a form of gaining power, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, it's all connected, as it were. Yeah. So let's talk about some of the signs, right? So there's the, let's see, there's the old, I didn't do that when they clearly did it, right?
Oh, yeah.
The I never said that, or I didn't mean that. I was just joking. Those kinds of phrases, right? Gosh, what other signs can you think of?
Well, they might, you might say something like, I'll just give my old example. Why were you late? And they say, why are you checking up on me?
Ooh, I hate that one. Don't investigate me.
Flip of the script of any kind, an avoidance tactic to change I think of it like a train going down a track. They derail you and stick you on a different track, and then you start defending yourself. Yes. And then the gaslighting has begun.
No question. Yeah. Sometimes it involves spreading rumors, the smear campaign.
Lies about you.
Yeah. And the well, you already kind of said the overreacting thing. Like if you call them out on their behavior, or you even deny your own behavior, like they say you did this and you really didn't do it, then you get the whole the whole spiel. It's not funny, but in hindsight, it's amusing to see it and be able to label it, right?
It's great. Yeah. They might, I had a good one. Oh, it just left my head. Keep going.
Okay. Let's see. So any sort of minimization of either their behavior or your own. And what I mean by that is like, you didn't, like, let's say you, I don't know, became a lawyer really quick, something. Or I have a client who became a lawyer very young. I'm very impressed by this client. Anyway, and the person might say something like, you never, it's just a little lawyer job. You think you're so great because you're a lawyer. It's not that big of a deal, stuff like that, because they like work in the nowhere, or
they're minimizing the importance of someone. It's a form of devaluing that's also gaslighting, because then you believe it.
Yes.
Or they might do the opposite, where they make you think it's your fault.
Right.
Yeah, they might explode things into it being your fault that something happened, or that an argument happened, or whatever it is.
Yep.
So then you doubt your reality of yourself.
Right. And then there's like the come home and start an argument with you so they can leave. That's that. A lot of cheaters do that one. Like they say.
Oh yeah.
It's just that it's a really common tactic. I mean,
right, because they're avoiding getting caught, and they can also not have to hide their guilty face.
Yeah, or they have plans and they want to leave.
And they want to leave. Yeah. Or they might play dumb. So why did you do this thing, or what is this, or what happened, where were you, what, I don't know.
Are you
They
getting
have
there?
can you
Sorry.
hear me?
Yeah, I
But
hear you. Keep going.
selective
Sorry.
hearing and selective remembrance of things, and then playing dumb so that you're arguing with yourself or
Right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see here.
I mean, there's a classic one of literally hiding your belongings and making you feel like you're going crazy.
Oh, that's the worst. Colleen, who works with us, she told me one time that someone the former person from her life was literally hiding her keys. I thought that was so funny. Yeah.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
funny in hindsight only.
Right.
Of course.
It's funny because it's like, how obvious can you be of gaslighting?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. She actually, I think she discussed it in that video that we did years ago about gaslighting, actually. Now that you, anyway, just made me think of it.
Yep, projecting. That's Glama Diva says caught cheating, then says I'm cheating. That's what I started with, which is the projecting. Yeah, they get caught doing something, so suddenly you're the one doing it.
Yeah, almost.
And then you're defending yourself. So what happens with it is you're like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. I haven't even left the house today. I don't cheat. I don't even know another whatever person that I would cheat with. Yes. What are you talking about? You're defending yourself. And they're like, oh, why are you defending yourself so much? Blah, blah, blah. And that's gaslighting again, further gaslighting.
And then you spend so much time trying to prove to them that you weren't cheating, that you forget about them cheating.
And or they take it to the point where they go silent because you've been so horrible and yelling at them about when in defending yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there are a few things really quickly. There are a few things that you can sort of watch yourself for to find out if somebody's gaslighting you, right? So maybe if you can't make a decision to save your life, right? You might be being actively gaslighted. Or if you find yourself always second guessing everything. I don't know if I should do that. I don't, that kind of same pattern. Mm-hmm. And like trying to, I mean, how many of us, everybody in the chat, let me know, how many of us have told ourselves it's not that bad? Trying to convince yourself that it's not that bad, it could be worse. If you have in the chat here, if you've experienced that, I want you to type yes right now. Let's see. And then blaming yourself for the way that, okay, how many of us have done this? I tried to change my entire self more than once. Yeah. Because if it was me, then I could fix it. Right?
It's you, and wouldn't you want to? I mean, truly, if it was you, would you not want to fix that thing? Awesome. I'll be a better person. Yeah, I want to fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
But they won't.
They won't. Yeah. They don't. No.
Right.
Someone's asking if body shaming is part of gaslighting. Yes. If you're telling, especially when it's the opposite of what someone is, if you're telling someone that, like a lot of narcissists will be like, you're getting a belly. Look at that belly. Look at that. And they'll make, I'm not even going to do it because it's just cruel and horrible. Like they'll make comments about someone's body parts when in fact the person is so completely fit and so thin and or whatever, or the opposite, they'll basically tell you what's the opposite of your body, the very thing you might be offended by or hurt by or worried about.
Mm-hmm. And this will be, before I continue what I'm about to say, not every sign here is going to show up with every narcissist.
No.
Some of them will never say a word about your body, but they'll tell you're stupid all day long.
Right. Right. None of these. It's just like, and someone doing this once or twice, we all gaslight. Okay, it happens. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We all want our way sometimes, and we do things that aren't not on purpose to hurt someone, just to sort of like get away with something or get something, or we don't know we're doing it. It's repeated patterns of gaslighting when you notice that the person is doing this to avoid all accountability, to hurt you, to manipulate everything their way, and you feel like you're giving up your whole life for them. That's when it becomes toxic, right? I mean, we don't want to be doing it to people. Yes. We catch ourselves. We go, oh, we gaslight ourselves, guys. We have to stop that too. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to say really quickly, thank you to our mod squad for coming in. We appreciate you. But yeah, you're totally right. I want to share a few more of these little signs about things to watch yourself for while we're here really quick. I think that it's important to, how many of us have walked on eggshells?
Oh, yeah.
I lived on them for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
We think we're too sensitive because we're told so all the time. We think we're too, not good enough. We judge ourselves and we question our own feelings, thoughts, and experiences, which is part of the reason they do that, right?
Part of why it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, we end up feeling lonely in a relationship. I had a conversation with someone this morning about feeling lonelier in a relationship with someone than when you're by yourself. And that's pretty harsh. But it's really, how many of us can relate? Can you relate? Yeah. Yep. And then, yeah, just thinking you can't do anything right. And then also like spending time apologizing, getting to the point where you apologize for your very existence. These types of things. There are a lot of.
Some of us apologize and some of us become non-apologetic.
Oh, that too.
Does that make sense? Like some of us are like, fine, if I can't do anything right, then I don't care.
Not doing anything at all.
Yeah, apathy sets in. It just depends who you are. Someone's asking if they're saying, MS Moon, give a compliment that's not really a compliment. Yes, backhanded compliments.
Oh, backhanded compliment.
Yeah, it's passive aggressive as well, right?
Yes. Yes. It's like, oh, it's really great that you're brave enough to wear that dress. I've never seen someone with your figure pull it off. You're so brave. That's the worst. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like they gaslight you too in a way where once they learn psychological vocabulary for proper communication, and then they turn it against you. So they might say, "Oh, that must be really hard."
Right.
Right. You know, and they try to use this nonviolent communication style without actually feeling it. And it feels like they're messing with you. Like, stop messing with me. Don't do that. Just, I'd rather you say nothing and show that you have no empathy than pretend that you have empathy. So like a covert narcissist might do that, or an altruistic narcissist hero type. Well, they will pretend to be Mr. Ms. Nice person. And right. And and they're really gaslighting you to believe that that's what they are.
But really, and that's the worst part. It's something you guys probably know already, but I'm going to tell you anyway, is that there is one type of empathy that narcissists have, and that's cognitive empathy. And that means they can logically understand and deduce what might be going on with you emotionally, which is how they fool us in the beginning and how they are able to dig deeper than ever as they start the abuse. Because, right, if they understand, okay, she or she, I'm saying she about myself, but anyway, he or she is really bothered when I do X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to do a lot more of that. You know, that's a bad use of empathy, but this is not, you know, it's only in logic. They understand it, right? So when it comes, and so they screw up sometimes and misinterpret, but then when it comes to emotional, compassionate empathy, they have none. Emotional empathy can be a little ridiculous at times. We've all probably been there, but compassionate empathy would allow you to want to take action to help the person who you feel for. But anyway, okay.
They don't have those two.
No. Glamma Diva says, constantly tells me I'm starting an argument when I ask questions about a bill. Another form of gaslighting.
Yep. That's what I was getting at, where they take you off the track you're on and start blaming. They start pointing
deflecting,
the finger. They're like, here, you know, take the finger pointed at you, deflect. Yep.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, you're defending yourself for something you haven't done. Ellen says it wasn't me. Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, I think I talked about this recently, that song called, what's it called? It wasn't me. It's called It Wasn't Me. It's like, you know, they saw them banging on the sofa. They saw them, you know, somebody caught somebody cheating and they saw them with their own eyes and they still told them it wasn't them. You know, he was asking for advice from his friend who said, say it wasn't you. Okay. Good example of gaslighting.
Exactly. UNA saying gaslighting is a specific term. Not every jerk action or devaluation is gaslighting. Correct.
Truth.
Yes. Things that make you doubt your reality, you're probably being gaslighted.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not, it's very specific and it's very like intentional most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Although
it's like a go-to tactic. I almost don't think it's always like you're about to say, like it's sort of like knee-jerk reaction with some of them.
Yeah, like it's instinctive for some because they were raised that way, I think.
Right. They get away with it. They get away with it long enough and you weren't taught that that's not how you treat people.
Correct. Yep. Yep. Hi, Rochelle. Rochelle says she's only going to be here for a little while, but she wanted to say hello, hello, hello. Okay, secret balance. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Did you have one to read?
No, I was smiling
Okay.
at Rochelle.
Okay. All right. Secret balance says, oh, like I wasn't myself or that wasn't me. Yeah, and that's another similar. Yeah, same. When you saw them with your own eyes, and then they go, either that wasn't me or I wasn't myself is a great one, because everyone could do something out of character at times.
Oh yeah, it wasn't
and for due to different reasons. Right.
It's dismissive. Being dismissive to twist the truth.
Yes.
That's when it becomes gaslighting. Being dismissive and just walking away, not gaslighting. That's just dismissive.
Right.
Being dismissive to twist the truth so that you're sitting there going, that's not true in your head. And then you're like, wait, is it? No, wait, it isn't. Right. That's when it becomes gaslighting.
Right. And like for me, I totally knew if they were saying something that wasn't true. But then at some point I got stuck a couple of times. Like I knew I'm intelligent. I understand things. Right. But there would be times where they would say it so many times that I would start to go, maybe I am crazy, just because I felt so crazy
it's
with
tiring.
so much.
Right. Yeah. And we
totally.
engage in it. We engage by having conversations with someone. Once someone starts gaslighting, conversation over. Mm-hmm. There isn't, if they're a narcissist. If they're not a narcissist and you say, wait, that's not my reality, hang on, they'll go, oh, I'm sorry, what were you thinking?
Right. And that's true. And I think what Peggy said is really an important thing to note. She said that, like you said, specifically to cause harm and by manipulation, to cause confusion and cognitive dissonance. And that is an important distinction, right? Because there could be a time where I thought something different than what Lise thought. And then we had to talk about it and we had to figure it out, right? But because Lise and I are not toxic people, that wouldn't be me gaslighting her or her gaslighting me per se. Although I might feel gaslighted or she might feel gaslighted, we're not doing it to hurt each other.
Right. If we're having a conversation and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. You should like it too.
Right.
And here's why. And you're like, but I don't really like that. Oh yeah, you would like it if you haven't tried it and I'm doing everything.
Right.
And then I say, oh, I know you like it. What do you mean you don't like it? And I start twisting words. And then she goes, Lise, stop gaslighting me. And I go, oh, I just really want you to like this thing with me or whatever. It's not the same as.
Right. But that's never happened, for the record.
No, and it's not the same as trying to get, I can't even make up a good example of, I see it happen. You feel it when it happens.
Right. Well, it's just
like, it's,
it's just, and sometimes I don't even know that they even mean, like some of the lower level types, that they even mean to cause harm. They just want what they want and that's all they care about. But I do think that it is about manipulation. It is about, I think, more about gaining control at whatever cost, gaining control so that you can take control or maintain control. Right. It's
Samantha,
the confusion.
She tagged us in a video yesterday she made. Samantha.
Oh.
Okay.
Samantha.
We'll find it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that on this platform?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Here's
Darlene.
a good one. Samibo Jess says, how about the saying, oh, it was a misunderstanding?
Yeah.
when you actually saw them. It was a misunderstanding. It was a misunderstanding. Right.
And it could be a misunderstanding under certain circumstances. And that's the other side of it too, to realize is that they will do the misunderstanding thing, but then sometimes they will play like they misunderstood when they didn't. They can be committed to misunderstanding you.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's avoidance of the situation to make, like, if you catch someone with their hand in the cookie jar, there's nothing to misunderstand. Your hand's in the cookie jar. And then when they say, oh, it's a misunderstanding, they're trying to twist your reality. Mm-hmm. That's gaslighting. Yes.
You already did the caught cheating that says I'm cheating one, right? So we've already been to that.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Okay. All right, guys. So we are, let's see here. I was trying to see if I can, okay, I'm down at the bottom now.
Okay.
Or almost. Okay. Hey, Nicole Angelita, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a minute. All right. Oh, Only Me says, Angie, I have a new person who is subscribed to your channel. Cool. I think that's a good thing. I hope. Oh, I think you're saying that it's someone you might be talking to or dating and they're subscribed to my channel, so maybe they're not a narcissist, I would hope.
Or just they sent a new person over here, maybe? I don't know.
Or that you sent a new person over. Yeah. Can you let me know? Okay. Oh, yeah. Here we are. Misunderstanding. And you did the one from Crystal.
But I was getting a cookie for you. Because I like a cookie in the form of someone you're cheating with. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like when you catch someone red-handed is what I mean. Yeah, but for real. Yeah, I didn't ask for the cookie. Yeah.
Right, right.
For a whole year, he was accusing, for a whole year, he was telling me I was accusing him of things out of my imagination. And then he has to leave because he respects himself enough.
Yes.
And that caused them panic attacks and hallucinations. Well, I later found out he was actually cheating with this girl. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's funny because we can know, but then we're like, wait, when does he have time to do that? Wait, I don't actually catch them with them. But wait, I did catch them, didn't I? Well, they say they're just friends. There's they put so much doubt into everything.
Yeah.
When they're gaslighting you like this. And you're so trauma bonded at that point and so wrapped up in trying to manage and maintain, or what they'll do is they'll throw you off by causing a bunch of other problems and other things, like things you're having to put out and fix, so that they go off and do this thing and can completely lie to you.
Yeah. Yep. We have oh, Ellen says, mine used to hide my medication from me, telling me I was crazy. That's a bad one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like life-threatening, or it can be, right?
It can be, yeah. It's should be.
Yeah. Grace says she wishes she knew about them 30 years earlier. And then she also, later I saw she said something where hers would, here it is. I've heard that belly comment many times, and I'm an athlete. Any change they would comment on. Yeah, that's the thing. Did you already read that one and I'm doubling up on it?
No, but it was good. What we were talking. I think I said the comment. That's why,
Yeah, you mentioned it. Yeah. I just wanted to pull in the comment. Yeah. Okay. Do you have one?
It's funny, they tell so many lies, they counter themselves later.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I have experienced that one in some big ways. And the problem is, even though I have a short-term memory problem sometimes, long-term, I'm like, sometimes like an elephant, I guess, because I can remember so many things. I remember little conversational things like that, especially if they bothered me or made me very happy. Yeah. So they'll tell me one thing, and then 5 years later, 6 years, whatever, I will hear that same story, but with the truth. And then I say something. It's never a good thing to do that with somebody because I would always have to say that I knew. And so I would always have to and I knew I was going to get in trouble for saying whatever I said. And this is my mother even. I mean, it was, craziness. Anyway.
Grace is saying, I hate this thought process. I finally have a boyfriend after 4 years post-narcissist. Always looking for gaslighting now. Suggestions for how to calm that line of questioning. It's like you take your time. I don't know how long you've known this person. You take your time to get to know them, learn their communication style so that you can discuss, argue, have conflict, have not conflict in healthy ways.
Yeah.
And when you catch gaslighting, you're allowed to point it out. You don't say you're gaslighting me. You just say, hey, it feels like you're trying to convince me that what you're saying is true, instead of listening to my side and see what someone says.
Right.
Absolutely. I think you are supposed to question others when you're with them. Maybe not in the way where we're like looking for toxicity, but being aware and awake so that you, when you see it, you know what's in front of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's something. I think that's true. Okay. Adrian says, I had an experience where my narcissistic mother comes in the room where I'm at and starts messing with me, making dumb faces, saying Adrian is dumb and crazy. Her supply be backing her up and don't have a clue. Oh, Adrian, I'm guessing that was very personal experience, and I'm guessing you were alone in the room, but sometimes they'll do this in a crowded space, and sometimes not always so blatantly, but they do something called a dog whistle, which I believe is a real significant form of gaslighting, where if you're in a room full of people, maybe at a party or a celebration of some sort, or a funeral even, they'll make some comment or some face, some look at you, and you'll know, oh crap, when I get home I'm in trouble.
Yep.
But it might sound like a sweet thing or a nice thing.
Oh yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Oh, I hate that feeling when they're playing the part in front of everybody else.
Yeah. And then they give you this.
Oh, you know it's coming. Yeah.
The dog whistle.
Or they do it before, like say you have a blow up before going somewhere. And then when you get there, you're still kind of shook up and you're a little quiet with your friends, and they are the life of the party, and you're going, oh, it's not over.
Yeah.
It's not
that
over.
used to happen to me. And then I would be like, look, you can be the life of the party. I'll stay in the corner. Just don't do that again.
It's heavy though. They have that feeling.
Yeah, it is. It's awful. Yeah. See, you have one?
Wait.
I have one.
Go ahead.
Okay. Jackie says, I need to try harder, but seriously, I didn't know I was that gross. I think I missed something. Oh, I think this must be something that was said to you. I'm sure you're not gross at all, Jackie. Not any more than the rest of us, you know? Yeah, that is the thing they do. Yeah.
Lori says he stole my actual cookie jar.
Oh my God.
That's a good one.
Lori, that's terrible.
Yeah, I'm not laughing at you, but it's a funny comment. Yeah.
It's a funny.
I'm assuming that was there for humor anyway.
Humor's not a bad thing per se.
Good thing.
Ellen C says, my ex-husband would put his foot on the scale to make me think I gained weight until my doctor told him that's not nice. Wow.
There's another form of gaslighting, using humor. Not maybe he did that to be funny, maybe he didn't.
Right.
His form of funny, haha, funny. Using humor against you, using humor, and then saying it was just a joke. You're too sensitive. You don't have fun anymore. You're not fun. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Really ridiculous.
It's really that one's hard because it steals your sense of humor.
Right. Yep.
And we need to have a sense of humor being around these people. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then, you got the one about from Peggy about Darlene. Back to Darlene saying it still depends on the motive. Example, they may have body dysmorphia. Right. Well, sure, but usually
body dysmorphia too.
Yes. Yes, and I assume. See, skinny as fat. I assume that. I would assume in this case that the person. Usually body dysmorphia only extends to oneself. So I assume you're talking about the narcissist saying it to someone with body dysmorphia.
Well, I've heard of them where the narcissist has a body dysmorphia and they are very concerned and always turning their focus onto their physique and very critical of themselves. And you know that that's a vulnerability for them. And then they'll point out everybody else's flaws. And so they're just projecting their own. Maybe that's what's meant. I'm not sure.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Secret Balance Thought Burns is asking, can we end the cycle of codependency?
Ooh.
Different topic, and also yes, and also a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah. You can. Yes, it's. They're saying. I think that takes a longer answer and way more info, and that's something that is great for working one-on-one with someone with. Don't you think? It's
yes.
I mean, it's because everybody's reasons behind it, their personal beliefs, and shifting your own belief system, your own mindset is going to take kind of personal interaction.
And I think for a lot of people, it's sometimes they just have never heard certain things before, and so they have to. For me, that was a lot of the breakthrough was about understanding how my issues connected to letting go of that stuff, right? So if I could understand, like I've said before, the logic of it first, and then connect that with the emotions, and that's something that it does help to do coaching or counseling or therapy for, depending on the depth of your
right
issue.
of
But
what you're dealing with. Yeah.
right. That being said, I think, I'll say this. If you are in a position where you aren't able to get any sort of counseling or coaching or whatever, then there are cheaper and free options. You're gonna have to work a little harder on your own.
You're gonna have to stay motivated and work toward it, and find things in your life where you put yourself in the position of wanting to do the thing a codependent would do and then not doing it. In other words, you're gonna have to challenge yourself.
Right. Right. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Darlene, for sharing with that with Samantha. I appreciate it. About the, the ad signing thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Grace is wondering if the golden period, honeymoon period, is a form of gaslighting too, something I'm trying to be aware of in dating.
Let's talk about that really quick. That's an interesting point, because it seems so perfect, right? It seems like everything's amazing and awesome, but they are in fact grooming you at that time as well.
Right.
Because, like I've said before, like if they tell you at the beginning, my ex never did the dishes and I was devastated and I can't stand dishes now, then you're going to do the dishes all the time because you want to make that person happy. So at that point, even though they're being sweet and awesome to you, probably giving you lots of love for doing the dishes, they are certainly also conditioning you to do the dishes in the relationship. And then, like, say you have a baby and you can't do the dishes or whatever, or you hurt yourself or whatever, then they're going to have a meltdown. I told you my ex always never did the dishes, So in one way, you could consider it a sort of, and then it's also kind of future faking, or whether it's in direct future faking where they're saying the lies to you, or they're just implying things, right?
And future faking is a form of gaslighting. Because you're convincing someone of a truth that isn't, that you're twisting someone's reality and making them follow that, chase that carrot of a reality,
which doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. It's also limerence, though. Narcissists love limerence. We all love limerence. It feels good to have the feelings of attraction, and they call new relationship energy, right? Like there's actual terms for it.
Yeah.
So they like the part of the relationship where they don't have to be seen as a human.
Right.
Where they can be seen as some sort of
magical unicorn.
Magical unicorn. They love that part, and they like to believe they are that for a while,
and that you are.
And but here's the thing: when you're dating, it's hard to tell. You can't tell in the beginning unless someone is showing you a whole lot of red flags, because even healthy, normal people will have that limerence happen, and will be like, "Oh my gosh, you're the best thing ever!" So people get really excited. Some people are more excited than others. Some people show it more than others, and some people aren't taught that that's a big old red flag. Don't do that, and it's hard not to. I mean, we go into our codependency really quickly of, oh my gosh, what can I do for you to make this last forever? And so it's hard to tell in the beginning. You're not going to be able to see, you can see obvious ones, but you're not going to be able to see a covert. You're not going to be able to see a sociopath quickly, unless unless you're lucky. Right? Unless you see patterns quickly.
Literally,
they hide it well. So
they come on,
yeah, that's why we say slow down. Take your time. You have time. Take it. Just take the time to get to know someone.
That's right. Exactly. Let's see here. So we have, wait a minute. Oh, Crystal says, they twist your intent into something it isn't. That's another good. Yeah, that's right. MS. It wasn't me by Shaggy. That's right. Sorry. The song I was singing earlier. Crystal says, absolutely, they twist you into something, or your intent into something it isn't. And they also do the same thing with you as a human. Well, your intent especially, but you as a human, they'll tell you you're stupid or ugly or Yeah. That's right. Okay. Let's see. All right. I think I've lost my place here. Okay.
How do we figure out if this is confused? How do we figure out if a new person is also a victim of the same, or a narcissist being deceptive? You watch for other red flags. You pay attention. This is okay. In the SPAN group, in the one on Facebook, we cannot vet everyone by calling them up and having extensive interviews and getting to know them.
Right.
Not possible. This is not possible. There's lots of people. This is why we have a do not PM one another and chit chat outside of group thing unless you're going to take it on as your own responsibility for who that person is in your
Right.
life, because you just don't know. You don't know
Right.
right away. It takes time to get to know someone. Some narcissistic, the vulnerable types that like to play victim will literally play victim and bond through the victimhood. Don't bond with people through your victim status. Bond with someone for who they are and for
Right.
the good experiences you have in life, and then relate to them through having
Right.
relative experiences, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Don't be so quick to need that connection, because it feels like connection, you know. I mean, even just sitting here, we feel connected to you guys, even though we're just reading, and
Right.
you potentially feel it to us because you know we've been there.
Hmm.
But we got to take time to get to know a person, right?
Yep.
Before we can let them in our personal life. That's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the answer is you don't know, you just pay attention. You just keep paying attention.
Yeah. This is interesting. Um, did you read the one from Darlene about the person you caught sleeping?
No.
There's apparently, and I don't know what happened, but um, Zamibo Jazz said something about someone found sleeping, and Darlene said, "Is it possible that the person you caught sleeping has narcolepsy?" I missed that comment from. Did you see the one from Zamibo Jazz
No.
about that? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Um. Okay.
Grace is
Oh,
asking a good question. What does slow down look like?
what does
It's a good
slow
question.
down look like
Mm-hmm.
in the respect of?
Oh, we were talking about, I said slow down the relationship, slow down getting to
Oh,
know someone, slow down
yes.
the pace, slow the pace.
Okay. So you don't want to be weird about it, right? Don't be weird,
Yeah.
Grace. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Don't be
I'm
weird.
just kidding.
Well, go
No.
ahead if you are.
All right. No, I know where this is going. She said earlier, she said, I hate this thought process. I finally have a boyfriend after 4 years after being with a narcissist. Always looking for gaslighting now. Suggestions how to calm that line of questioning. Did you already answer
I
that
did
question?
that one. Yeah, we did that
That
one.
one. Okay, so that's where it's coming from. What does slow down look like? Okay. So I think it looks like don't this is what I did. Okay, for me, I like just like everybody else, I love love. So I would always want to jump in with both feet really quick, and I always got burned. So what I did after I got divorced is I told myself timelines. Okay. So for example, I would not allow myself to be, wait a minute, I would not, so I could date people. And until I was monogamously dating them, then the clock would start. If we decided together that we were monogamously dating, then the clock would start. And so once, so that was for me, the clock started. I said that 3 times. Oh no. Okay. so,
She
so for
started the
example,
clock.
woo. So for example, I would have 1 year, I said to myself. So if somebody asked me to monogamously date them, then I could not take the step for 1 year. This was my own timeline. You can pick your own. Oh, another thing I did, and the next step being whether we decided to get engaged or to get married or to move in together, whatever that was. I wouldn't get married in a year, but I would maybe have gotten engaged. Okay. The other step was when I first started dating, now this one's going to hurt some people's feelings, but I didn't want to have intimate relations for 6 dates, which for me was until the sixth date, which was 6 weeks for me because I had a little child at home and my mother was only going to willing to babysit once every month. So for, so I could go out. So, oh no, 6 weeks. She would do once a week, I think, at that time. So anyway, the point is for me, I would get more physically, I would become more attached if that would be a thing. So I had to wait, right?
Right. Know your attachments. Know where your attachment points are, and then slow the
Yes.
place down to a
Yes.
place that feels right for you without
Yes. Right.
uh,
Set your own timelines,
set your
right?
timeline. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The reason I say that is, and if you're not the sort of person who, if you make a rule, you follow the rule, this might not work for you. But for me, if I put my foot down and I say these are the rules that I will follow, even if I don't want to, you know.
Right.
So at
Right.
least for a while.
Right.
So that helped me a lot. Just timelining it. What about you, Lise? What do you think about
Um, so slowing down can mean keeping your, for me, it means keeping your logic in check when your emotions take over.
that?
Don't let the emotions get bigger than the logic. That's
Right.
the mistake we make when we are swept away.
Right,
So,
which is why the rules were what they were.
exactly. So, right. And so the other piece to that for me would be like, I know, like, just if I were Angie, I might say, I know that I attach once I'm intimate. And when that happens, I lose my head for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I have to wait 6 weeks. In those 6 weeks, I'm going to make sure I talk to them a lot. I set boundaries and see what happens. I pay attention to the way they are in the world, how they interact with others. Anything that sounds like they say one thing, they do another. Are they playing hero? Are they trying to save me? Are they doing like all these things that are red flags in the beginning that you could look up, right? And watch for those things. I also said, when I say slow down, I mean, know at any point you can walk away, and that should always be there. Slow down your emotions. Don't let them get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
You make a choice every moment you're with another person. Every time even a friend, every time I talk to Angie, I make a choice to talk to Angie. It's not like I'm not obliged to talk to Angie, right? Like, she messes with me. No, I'm kidding. But really, but true. But it's true,
Yeah.
you know, even in friendships, I'll have people say, I'm not even trying to date and I can't even make friends. Everyone's so toxic. And I'll say, and that's because a lot of times people are bonding through toxic experiences, and people eat that up when they're toxic.
Yes.
Or people don't engage and tell enough about themselves, not about their history or what am I trying to say? Slow down can be yourself. Let the other person be themselves.
Right, and try not to overthink.
Try not to overthink too much. Just be yourself without
It's hard.
Without trying to please them. If you catch yourself people pleasing, it's a whole lot of stuff. A whole lot of yeah.
So know your boundaries.
Know your boundaries.
And make sure that you make those clear to that person.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to walk away. And if you need a minute, take a minute. If they have a problem with that, they're not for you, you know.
And keep time for yourself every day, every week. Yeah.
Right. Okay, I just figured out what Zamibo Jazz was talking about. The person, Zamibo Jazz caught people doing things together. And she said they weren't sleeping at all. I mistook them for sleeping while I stood there and watched them to make sure. So I think this was it wasn't me moment.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. Oof, that's hard. Both of my grandparents' secret balance. Did you read this one about?
Yeah, that's what I summed it up because we were looking like we were wrapping up. So
yeah. Actually, I think we are, because I think you have.
Yes, I have.
And I think, yeah. Okay. All right. Crystal, yes, ask questions in order to clarify what they were saying. The ex said that was her arguing. Yes, that's all gaslighting. Okay.
And secret balance, we all absorb everyone's feelings when we have empathic personalities and empathic. We all absorb. So learn to release it. Learn to absorb it. Like you have a sponge, it absorbs. You can also squeeze the sponge and let it back out. You don't have to hold it in.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, like I think codependency is something maybe we need to touch on.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on really quick. When you are dating a narcissist and he ask for time for himself a few months in, best response, gray rock, yes. And one more. Darlene's father was the one who was telling her she looked pregnant even as a teen before puberty, kept telling her she needed to lose it. So it looks like he gave her a little eating disorder. I'm so sorry, Darlene. Yes. Yep. Yeah, Peggy caught that too. Good job, Peggy. All right. Okay. We would love to stay and talk longer. Excuse me, but Lise has to run. And I have a very important visitor here today with me. So I'm going to go and hang out with him before he gets home. So it's my son, everybody, my adult son. So anyway, all right, guys, Lise and I will see you next week. We will probably be more on time next week, most likely. And make sure you subscribe to both channels and press the bell notification, my channel and Lisa's, which is in the description here, Lisa's channel, and also will be attached in the video when this goes up later. And then, wait a minute, I want to make sure the 3322 is there. I think it is. Okay, well, text, I can't tell. I'm trying to hurry and read. Text Angie Live to 33222, that's all one word, or Lise Live to 33222, all one word, and we will hello. We will send you notices before we go live each week. And Lise, when is your next live over your channel? Do you know yet?
Next live sometime this week. I don't know the time yet. I have a
Sign
video.
up, y'all.
Should be out today
Okay.
or tomorrow about why you need to stop asking why.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right. Sounds great.
Okay.
Okay. We'll see you guys next week. And
Yeah.
if you have any topics or anything, you can leave them here, put them in the comments, or tell one of our admins or moderators. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you so much. And thanks to the Mod
Bye.
Squad. All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.